Dad married again and made stepbrother the CEO of our family business, so I quit and took all of their clients with me. So my mom died in a terrible accident 5 years back, which left me and my father completely shattered. I was in my final year of business school while my dad was running a successful business. My mom's death really took a toll on his mental health, and he went into depression. He initially stopped going to work and eventually stopped taking care of the business entirely. He just wanted to stay at home with a drink in hand remembering his late wife, and I felt really sorry for him. I wanted to help him, but I could only do so much with the burden of my final year studies and exams. Our family business started to go into losses, and within a year, we were nearing the risk of selling out the entire business. I tried talking to my dad multiple times, but he was not in the right mind. I came back home a year after my business school ended and quickly realized that the family business was doing terribly and my father had completely abandoned it. But my father had worked quite hard to build it from the ground up, so I really wanted to try to save it. So I told Dad that I wanted to get into the family business, and after almost a year, I saw a smile on his face. He was proud that I was ready to learn the ropes. He took me to work that day and showed me the basics and explained the entire business operations. He even introduced me to all our long-term clients. Within a week, I had been trained enough to run the operations on my own while my dad was still the CEO. 6 months after I started working, our business had stabled down, and a year down the line, we were quite profitable. I worked on our family business day and night to make it a success, and my efforts yielded some really fortunate results. Our business had grown 3 times within a span of 2 years. Dad was really proud of me, but I was still terribly worried about his mental health. He was really lonely, and due to the business operations, I was not able to spend much time with him. He only had a friend, Scarlett. She was actually my parents' best friend for a long time. She was a divorcee who had a son named Ryan. Ryan was 2 years older than me. Ryan and I were longtime family friends too, but a couple of years before my mom died, he flew to the States for higher education, and I later got busy with business school and haven't heard much from him since. In a short span of time, Scarlett and Dad had gotten really close and started spending a lot of time together. Shortly after that, they started dating. So one day Ryan had come back home to visit his mom, and all 4 of us went out to dinner together. During dessert, Ryan and I were just discussing how happy Dad and Scarlett looked together when Dad abruptly got up and sat on one knee and proposed to Scarlett. Neither of us saw this coming, but Ryan and I were really happy for them both and started cheering along with everyone in the restaurant. Scarlett seemed really surprised too, but maybe not in a good way. She just stayed there stunned and did not utter a single word. I found it extremely weird. Ryan quickly came to her rescue and changed the topic. After dinner, we all went back to our places. After that night, my father and Scarlett didn't talk for a couple of weeks at all. He kept trying to call her, but she kept telling him that she needed more time. After almost 3 weeks, Dad asked me to congratulate him because Scarlett had finally said yes. I was happy that my father finally gets to be happy again. 2 months after this, they both got married in a private ceremony with friends and family. Ryan was now my stepbrother, and I was really excited for this next chapter in our lives. The next morning, we all had breakfast together, but Ryan was missing. So we all had lunch, and then I went straight to work. As soon as I entered, I saw almost everyone staring at me and gossiping. I had no clue what had happened, so I went straight to my assistant's cubicle to ask her what was wrong, and she started stammering and looking at my father's office. When I looked inside his office, I saw Ryan sitting at his table. I went inside and greeted Ryan and asked him what he was doing there. "I work here," he said. I did not know that my father had given him a position at the company, but I guessed that he was family now, so he deserved a place in the family business too. I congratulated him on his first day and politely told him that this was the CEO's office and his office must be next to mine. "I am the new CEO, sis," he blurted out. His words completely blew my mind. I didn't say a word and left the office to go straight to my father's house. He was with Scarlett, but I didn't care. I just stormed in and asked him if he made Ryan the new CEO of our family business that I saved with all my hard work when my father was incapable to handle the stress. Dad accepted that he gave the position to Ryan. I was absolutely furious. I told my father that I felt completely betrayed because I worked so hard for the company, and he still didn't trust me to be the CEO and gave that position to Ryan. He and Scarlett both kept trying to calm me down, but I did not deserve this, and I told them that I am resigning from the company and I will be opening my own business. I was sure that the major clients I brought into the company in the last 3 years were going to be loyal to me and will refuse to work with Ryan. My father kept trying to oppose my decision, but I did not feel valued in our own business anymore, so did precisely what I told them. I also stopped talking to my dad, Scarlett and Ryan. I did not understand why my father did not even consult me or even inform me about such a big decision. Anyway, my business took off within 6 months, And as expected, all the major clients from my dad's business followed me here. My business actually started doing really well and became profitable in less than a year. On the other hand, Ryan was struggling to keep my dad's business afloat. He couldn't bring any big clients since he joined the company as a CEO and even lost all the major ones to me. In almost a year, my father's company was back where he had left it when he was depressed after my mother's passing. So a couple of days back, Ryan came to visit my office and told me that the business was terribly struggling and he needed my help and expertise to bring new clients and get back the ones who walked out with me. He told me that he was desperate and was even willing to give me my old position of head of business operations along with a generous raise. Can you believe this guy? I refused straight away. Why would I go back to a place where I wasn't valued, and for what? To work under Ryan? He seemed really sad and kept begging me for about an hour to come back, but I wanted no part of my father's business after his betrayal. So I refused his offer and went back to work. Ryan left the office shortly after that, and I didn't see him again. Update 1. After his last visit, I didn't hear from Ryan or see him for a couple of months, but yesterday my dad called me and told me that he wanted to talk to me. I told him that I wasn't going to come back to the company and that he and Ryan should stop persuading me for the same, but he said that he had something else that he wanted to share with me. He wanted to get some things off his chest and did not want to lose me, so he really wished for us to sit and talk. So I agreed to dinner, and we will be going out in a week. I will be sure to update you guys as to what happened at the dinner. Update 2. Here is an update on the dinner with my dad, as promised. So my dad spilled quite a lot on the dinner table. He was sad about how Scarlett emotionally blackmailed him. He also explained how Scarlett told him that she was really worried about her son's future and he was not doing well at his job, so he really needed a helping hand. So my father had offered him a position at the company, but Scarlett wanted my father to make Ryan the CEO so he could prove himself to be better than me. My father opposed this idea for weeks, but Scarlett did not let it go and instead stopped talking to my father. Dad felt so lonely once again and was terrified of losing Scarlett, so he finally agreed to make Ryan the CEO, and shortly after that, Scarlett said yes to his marriage proposal. He told me that he had a lot of time to reflect on his actions, and it was clear to him that the motherson manipulated him into this decision. My father really seemed like he regretted this decision and wanted me back in charge of the company, but I explained to him that I did not know how to trust him again, and I also didn't want to abandon my own business. Dad kept trying to persuade me throughout the dinner, so I told him I will think about it and give him a call in a couple of days. Update 3. Here is another update for you guys. I thought it through and decided that Ryan and Scarlett really needed to pay for their actions and had to be put in their place. I told my father that I would come back to the company at the post of the CEO, and Ryan had to be demoted to work as my assistant for at least a year before he got a chance to work hard and try to earn his way up the management. Dad had to agree. He was really desperate to save the company again, and he knew he needed someone dedicated like me to do the task. On top of this, I told him that he had to throw a party with our employees and all of our clients to tell them that I was moving back and at the post of CEO, and Ryan had been demoted because he failed to do his job properly and suffered terrible losses to the company. Dad had realized what game Scarlett and Ryan played with his mind, and he was up for all of this. Can't wait to update you guys more about my revenge on Ryan. Update 4. I want to thank you guys for understanding my situation and sending me so many helpful ideas on how to humiliate Ryan and show him his place. He and his mother played my innocent dad, and I wasn't gonna let that one slide. So we threw the party last week. I was announced as the new CEO in front of all the employees of the company and our old and potential new clients. Dad actually managed to keep it a surprise for Scarlett and Ryan, and that was all his idea. The shocked look on both of their faces was absolutely priceless when Dad explained to the board of directors why Ryan got demoted and I was being given the position that I had always deserved. Their faces went completely white, and Dad and I couldn't stop looking at them that night. All our clients told Dad that they were over the moon to have me back in the company. It was a complete win for us. Shortly after the announcement, Scarlett came to Dad along with Ryan and told him that he couldn't work under me as my assistant. It is absurd. It would be extremely humiliating for him. How can you do this to him is precisely what she whined about. But Dad knew them better than ever now, and he savagely replied to them with the humiliation is what he deserves then. Dad really showed them their place, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch. I was really happy that Dad took my side. It was a slap on Scarlett and Ryan's manipulative faces. Everyone at the party kept laughing and gossiping about them. The word has spread about how they both really were, and they just couldn't take it. They stormed out of the party. Dad and I laughed so hard that night when we got home from the party. We were really happy to have made peace with each other. Dad was just naive, he never meant to betray me. It was all Scarlett and Ryan, and we hope that they will stay in their place after all this. Opinion 1. I feel really bad for you. You deserve that position after you saved the family business when even your father abandoned it. He should not have given in to Scarlett's wishes. At the end of the day, everyone knows that talent and hard work are the only two things that can make you successful. You cannot be successful by snatching what other people deserve. Scarlett and Ryan might have planned all of this, and I doubt if Scarlett even has any real feelings for your father. You need to keep her away from your father too. Opinion 2, I hope you humbled Scarlett and Ryan enough for life, but I feel that you might have been too harsh on them. Especially Ryan. This looked like Scarlett's master plan all along, and Ryan had to be just a pawn. Maybe he did not even have too much of a hand in all this and just wanted a chance to be successful. Ryan maybe didn't deserve so much humiliation. I am in university for an art major, not sharing exact one for anonymity purposes, currently in my junior year. Last semester, I took what was easily my favorite class of these past few years. I learned a ton, and that was entirely due to the professor, I'll call him the professor for clarity, and how he taught. He was very strict, but fair, and had high expectations for us. My art improved greatly during his class, and as he's a talented artist working in the field, I feel like I can also rely on him as a connection in the future. Some students didn't like him because he could be blunt during critiques, but at this point we shouldn't be getting offended by this as we'll be needing to go through critiques for the rest of our careers. Like I said, he was always fair and his critiques were always followed by instruction and advice. In our class, there was a girl named Maggie. I have taken multiple classes with Maggie, and to be honest I have no idea how she's still at our university. In all of the classes I have taken with her I have only seen one single finished piece of art out of maybe 30 assignments. She always has some kind of excuse during critiques about why she doesn't have her art, and I genuinely have no idea how she passed last year. I wouldn't really care what she does with her time, it's her money that she's wasting, but she has a victim complex and claims that every professor hates her and that's why she's failed so many classes. The semester just started this week, and I was talking yesterday to a student who is taking the professor's class. He said he was nervous because of the workload, and I was telling him that it's actually a really good class, and even though it's a high workload it's definitely worth it. Maggie was sitting basically next to us, and as I was talking about how great the professor teaches, she decided to butt in with her opinions about him. She basically said that I only liked him because I was one of his favorites, and that he was really rude to her. She called him an egotistical asshole, and I ended up telling her something along the lines of, I'm not his favorite, I just actually turned in my art and worked hard. The only reason why he didn't like you is because you never turned in a single project. She was obviously upset by this, but I don't think it was wrong of me to tell her the truth when she was basically slandering him. However, she has a few mutual friends with me and they said that she's really upset that I embarrassed her and I should apologize. Am I the a-hole? Opinion 1, not the a-hole. She barged into a conversation and got stung by the truth. It also helps your junior to have the truth and context about her words rather than risking her being believed. While it is about writing rather than art, but I watched a YouTube video by a channel called Literature Devil titled 12 Rules for Writing. He uses the example of a gifted artist and an average one. The gifted artist gives up due to steady rejections, but the average takes his rejections as feedback, learns, and uses that to succeed. This is a good explanation for the artists we can encounter. We don't always get the gifted ones, but we get the disciplined and consistent ones. I feel this applies to all creative media. I, 22 female, recently found out my boyfriend, 23 male, of nearly 2 years has never been to an aquarium or a zoo or anything like that. Growing up his family didn't have much money so they never really took day trips. I decided to fix that and planned a date which I surprised him with. We'd be going to the aquarium that I went to a lot growing up and also going out for McDonald's and stopping by the pier to hit up some of the fair rides there, all my treat. Basically a classic kid's day trip that he never got to do growing up. We had the date and it was a blast. My boyfriend loved every minute of it and got super emotional at some points. A win of a date and everyone was happy. Until I was talking about it with my family recently. I've got a younger brother who is only 8. My parents were kinda annoyed that I'd done this kid-friendly day and not taken my brother along to give them a break and even loudly talked about all the fun the three of us could have had together. My brother heard this as they weren't exactly being quiet and got super upset as he wanted to go to the aquarium and get McDonald's and go on rides. I was kinda pissed at them for doing this and pointed out it was a date with my boyfriend and bringing a kid would be weird, though I promised my brother I'd take him out for McDonald's tomorrow. Not good enough apparently. My parents pointed out how I still live with them so I need to be more considerate of my little brother and also them needing time. Now, I pay rent and help out around the house. I'm not exactly someone milking my parents dry and I also babysit my brother all the time. I don't think it's unreasonable to want to have a date with my boyfriend alone even if it's a kid-friendly date. My family seems to think though as it wasn't a romantic one I should have.